Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have audio for this today? I hope. Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it's time for the noon edition of Welcome to My World. This is the 3rd of August. It is a Wednesday. It's Crude Oil Inventory Day. So, happy Wednesday. Well, my goodness. We've had some interesting things happen this morning. It looks to me like with our indices, TF has been the stronger. No, it's really the strongest of the four. It's shown a little more oomph, and I'm sure it's the earnings. Some of those. Keep in mind that the underlying for the TF is the Russell 2000. So there's a lot of smaller companies that are these, I don't know, the chattering class can get pretty crazed about some of these sometimes. But some of them, when they come out with earnings, a little cluster of them in the technology sector, they can cause that thing to really outperform the other three. And today's one of those days. We've had gold has backed off a little bit today, and it did make a nice, once it cleared the chop box this morning, which was around, I don't know, close to 9 o'clock or so, it's put in maybe 3 apex E's right about that time. One of them was at a major magnet with an elevator. So when those elevators turn up in a trend like that, it's usually got, the bus driver's got a little more gas in his tank. So don't give up on those right there. Just tighten up your stop. Crude oil looks like it may be just about to turn around here. It's sure trying. And it's dragging the Canadian dollar along with it. So it's Brent is coming up too considerably. So when those two trade, they're usually about $1.50, sometimes a little over $2 difference. But I double checked to see what these forward months are trading at, and they're at a bit of a premium to right now. So we are still in contango. I think there was a little concern that if crude oil goes into backwardation here, it could be it could really point the way for a down move. So I want to show you on this. There's a couple things to be gleaned today. We are trying our level best to get these magnets that we're in off of the about to be new order flow indicator. And sometimes when you get trades on in a couple of markets and you're busy and monitoring, you kind of lose track of where these, being able to type the magnets in. So we're trying to do our very best, but there's a couple things I wanted to point out to you. This magenta heavy dot line down here, I put those on my charts every week because those are pretty much major lines in the sand. It gives us a ballpark range for the week. And yesterday, crude oil went down and kind of messed around a little bit to about where it is now. You can see this magnet, and sometimes these get a little lost here, but this is really an orange dotted line behind here, which is the low of yesterday. So it put in maybe 1 or 2 ticks. Yeah, what is this, about 5, maybe 5 ticks. below yesterday's low, and then it came back out of that, and it couldn't go back and penetrate it again. So this level here at around 39.45-ish, that thing is pretty significant. And obviously, I think, unless, I don't know, Chicken Little and the sky is falling, it looks like crude oil is going to close well above that level today, which would give us an indication that it may be on its way back up. Of course, that means all of nothing tomorrow, but when I'm looking at a 6-month chart, a daily on crude oil, it looks like this may get turned around here. Anyway, the bus driver, somebody asked this morning about trading this right at inventory, and I want to show you it's a little easier to see. Well, let's look at it on the 12 tick, because I think most people, if you're going to trade crude oil, are trading it off 12 tick, especially at inventory. Do not try to trade a smaller tick size at inventory. It will happen so fast you can't possibly keep up with it. Your chart can't even keep up with it. But right here at 10:30, this is 10:30 right here. Okay, if you keep looking at this, we're still at, it's only been 3 minutes to right in this area right here. Whoops. Got my horizontal line over here. So this is 3 minutes. Don't try to get in between this 10:30. It's bouncing around. The whole thing is going berserk, and you're going to get run over. And if you put your stop in, I don't care where you put your stop in, it's going to get hit and take you out and go in your direction in the first place. Just wait. There'll be plenty of time to get in a trade. And if you miss this trend catcher right here, there's a reversal on the mountain. These mountain trades work real well. It's the 50 and the 8 EMAs have crossed right here just above this big fat magnet. So this would be a pretty safe bet to go north. And depending on how you trade these things, you can easily expect an easy 30-35 ticks on this. If you want to take that and then wait for another signal to get back in, and it put another E up right over here. If you like to trade this kind of stuff, that's fine. But on inventory day, there's usually several opportunities to make some nice ticks. Around 11 o'clock after this morning, I'm pretty much, my brains are fried. But that, and keep in mind that this 6 tick that I use, this is for a slow market. It's a confirmation. If you get mixed signals, one's red and the other one's green. But when you have a real slow market, this is happening up here. This 6 tick is happening half as or twice as fast as the 12. So when it looks to you like the paint is drying on the bus and the guy is just stuck at the stoplight and can't seem to figure out what he's doing, you can many times get 15 ticks off of this 6 tick without too much trouble. But in a very fast market, don't even think about trying to use that thing. If you're in a trade, I find also that this 10-minute gives you a pretty good idea of relative to where you are. And this morning, this came down this morning. It's shifted since then. But when this came down here, this range box was right at the 0. at that point. And as it came back up, of course, the range box shifted. But those are pretty good. And Leonard, there's if you put in the search box how I find trades in my world in the forum, you'll get to the I have these charts laid out. They may be a little different colors. Some of that stuff is a little bit old. And once we get this order flow nailed down, I may do another update in there. But it's kind of the general idea of how I like to trade. Lori and I were talking about this a little bit earlier today. We see a lot of the same trades, and we take a lot of the same trades. We just take them a little bit differently. And I have a tendency to look at a bigger picture. And I've tried to trade with Lori, and she is so glued to her detail vision. And I just, boy, I really struggle with that. But it works for her. So I guess the two of us are kind of like the flip side of the same coin. The charts this is a standard C's chart. You have a template for it, and you can look in your templates and load. I'm not sure how that is laid out in there, but there's C's chart templates already made. Anyway, we've got the VIX. Earlier in the week, the thing was down into the 12s, and it came back up a little bit yesterday. It's trading 13.17 right now, and the gold volatility is dropping off a little bit. It's down below 16, so we'll see. And interestingly enough, the bonds are down on the volatility a little bit. They're trading 15.59 now, and that's also an indication that maybe bonds are not quite through with their downward move here. Anyway, I don't see too much else. Bonds had a couple of nice 10-tick trades, easy. Just take them off the apex signals. We've got tomorrow morning. Let's see here. For those of you who are around at 7 in the morning, there is a whole bunch of economic numbers coming out of Great Britain, out of the UK. And if you go to the Apex website and get the news tab, I'm pretty sure there are some trades that will help you take advantage of this. They are probably spread trades, and there might be some binaries, but there's going to be a good opportunity for the GBP tomorrow morning. And at 7:30, their answer to Mrs. Yellen will be speaking also. 8:30, U.S. has unemployment claims. I'll just love that. Where they come up with those numbers is beyond me. Frankly, I think it's beyond them too. At 10 and 10:30, 10:30 is nat gas. So for the Nadex traders, nat gas will give you an opportunity tomorrow morning at 10:30 also. So I think that's about it. Thoughts on TF? I really like TF. I haven't traded it in a while because I've got just so much space on 3 monitors, and some of it's taken up by my camera thing. So I've I'm trying to get a little more familiar with NQ. I have never traded NQ very much. And TF is pretty easy for me. So I'm trying to spend August learning NQ a little bit better. And which is another thing, if you can just take 1 or 2, maximum 3 markets and really get familiar with them. But don't use 2, well, certainly don't use 3 indices. My suggestion is to not use 3 indices because basically you've got 3 of the same thing. If you can get 1 commodity and 1 index and 1 currency or an interest, if you're interested in what affects the interest rates, ZB can be a bit of a big bite to take at first. You might be better off with ZN, which is the 10-year, and the 2 years are ZF. But those will give you a little exposure to what happens when interest rates and currencies start bouncing around. So anyway, I think there are several of us trying to put these mini magnets in, and when we get busy trying to manage our own trades and type, and it gets a little too much to be doing too many things at once. Oh, and another thing, up here, this is a great example of a 30-minute candle. This 30-minute candle just, you know how Daryl has done some videos on this retrace when there's a big move and then there's a retrace and it's all in one tight timeline. But this right here, crude oil acts like it really wanted to go down, and it went down here and put in a new low, tested this big magnet right here, and just could not convince anybody it wanted to go south of there. So I haven't talked very much. It sounds like I'm losing my voice. There might be, I think Daryl has some videos, but I can show you how to do this. It's really easy. The market analyzer, you have to get your control center, and you click on File, New, and go over here to the market analyzer. It's about halfway down this menu. A lot of people look for time and sales. It's always at the bottom. Market analyzer, you can click on that, and you'll get something that looks like this. You get this. So if you right-click in the middle of this and go down here to Templates, Load, you'll get the Alchemy. There's a bunch of different ones. I like this Triple Crown right here because it's a little bit of a bigger trend. So whatever one you want, just click on it, and it will load it for you. Then you have to go to the top space up here and add an instrument. So if you click on Add an Instrument, it'll give you your instrument list, and you can put whatever you want in here. So if you want to put, I don't know, maybe you want to put crude oil in here. Just click on that, tell it OK, and give it a minute, and it will populate this. And then I'll give you a hint. Right-click this thing, go down here to Properties, all the way down. No, maybe that's not it. No, that's not it. Wait a second. get this out of the way. Oh, phooey. Well, now I'm stuck. There. How do you get this to, oh, right here. Here's where it is. Always on top. You right-click, go down here to always on top, and click that thing. Because it'll, otherwise these little bands that I like, I have one on the top of each chart, just specific to that market. Otherwise they're going to get lost. You try to figure something out, and then you can squish this down. Different markets, like on gold, it'll have to be wider because the pricing is, what is that, 5-digit? Well, it's 6 because there's a decimal in there. But on crude oil with 4 digits, and you can squish this thing up. But it gives you a really nice thing. You're thinking about, oh golly, is it going to turn around here, or what is it likely to do? And oh my goodness, and you can glance at this, and if the whole thing's green all the way across, you know what? If I were northbound, I'd just stay with it until something tells you to get out. And yes, Craig makes a very good point. That Triple Crown is for 12-tick charts. Don't be trying to use this on 6-tick or 4-tick or whatever it is. I mean, you can, but you need to know there's a difference. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, Aaron, great job. Aaron did 2 TF trades for a total of 30 ticks. Very nice. Very nice. I understand this chart is getting a little messy. It's kind of driving me nuts. But one thing I will point out is looking at the, when you just kind of sit back and get your nose off the monitor so you can get a bigger picture, look at all these magnets from today right here at this blue ice. Now that has to be a significant area right around 40.10, 40.05 to 40.10, right in here. The thing to file in the back of your mind is to see if crude oil will close today at 2:30, will close above this or darn close to above this, because this is going to be a big deal tomorrow. You're going to see this area also designated, and there will be some return. Keep in mind what the bus driver is. The bus driver is a business guy. The bus driver is going to go where the business is. He's going to go where he gets the most passengers to get on his bus and to get off his bus. That's where he makes the money, taking on passengers. So if passengers have taken the ride for as far as they want to go, they're going to get off the bus, and he's looking for new passengers. So he's going to go where he thinks he can find the passengers. Okay. And this formation down here on the deviation, I know Daryl liked to strangle me for this, but when it's above this 1 deviation and it's gone up this high, this mountain's, this is what I call a volcano. I mean, this thing has really gone up. When it gets up that high, I'd be either tightening up my stops, out, whatever. But rarely will it might take a breath. There's a whole lot of people that got on here. Let's see, we've got almost 480,000 contracts. This morning at, I don't know, 8:30 or 9 is about 150. So we got a lot